Hey everybody, it's Missy again. Today I have a layout for a Flair for buttons, and I'm going to be using the autism Flair for this layout today. And these are the buttons. I'm going to use 3 of them, and I have a series of pictures here that I took of me and my daughters in April last month for Autism Awareness Month. And I was inspired by the handprint one. It's a rainbow handprint, and that's one of the symbols for autism in addition to the puzzle piece. And both of my daughters are autistic and nonverbal, and I'll talk about them as we go, but I wanted to tell you what inspired me to make this layout. Definitely the Flair. That handprint, I'm going to try to recreate the handprint with my hand as a stamp. And it actually turns out really cool. I'm quite excited about it. I pulled out some of my old, obviously this one is almost dried up, acrylic bottles of paint. And these are just the cheap acrylic bottles that you could buy at Walmart or Michael's. And I'm going to arrange them on this plastic packaging. And they're in the order of colors that are in the handprint on the Flair. And I'm going to stick my hand in it and use it as a stamp and recreate that hand stamp. And I'm very, very happy with how it turned out. This is probably one of my most favorite layouts that I've made in a while as far as mixed media goes, because I'm not using a collection. I'm creating the background from scratch, and I'm using bits and pieces and stickers and things from my stash, as well as this awesome Flair set. So sometimes I like to just forget that I have collections, and I like to just make something from scratch. And so that's what this layout is. So I'm taking a brush, and I'm just kind of smoothing the paint out to give my hand a palette to sit in when I go to stick it on there. And I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to either have a puzzle piece or the handprint or something as my background. And then when I saw the Flair with the hand, I thought, okay, I have to recreate that with my own hand. And it's really, really fun to get messy. I felt like I was finger painting again. So I'm going to stick my hand right in there. Smush. Yes, you have to try this. You have to try this. It was really fun. Yeah, I just want to push it down to make sure that it gets a lot of paint on there. And when I pull it up, it looks really cool. I wish I would have taken a picture of just my hand. I love how that looks. I was like, yay, this is so cool. So I wanted to add a little bit more blue to the tips of my fingers, and this is definitely a 2-person job. I couldn't get the lid off because it's almost dried up, so I just had to kind of use some of the excess paint and finish the top of my fingers, and I add a little bit more green to the bottom of my hand there. And then I'm just going to take my white cardstock and stamp it down. And you know, handprints are not meant to be perfect. It's going to be a little bit messy. But hey, if you can't get a little messy, it's not fun, right? For me anyway. I love how that is. I gave it a thumbs up. So I love the rainbow effect, and I'm going to just take a brush and fill in a couple of little spots so I have a couple, not a couple, but a little bit more of each color on there. I want to fill in some of the yellow and fill in some of the red and a little bit more of that light blue color at the top. And normally, you know, when I make something with rainbow, I want to start with the red and go to the orange and the yellow in the order. But on the Flair with the handprint, it started with blue and blended down to the green. And I thought that was really cool. So I tried to mimic that. And I'm going to use this as my background. And the pictures are going to kind of overlap the hand. But you're going to be able to see still a lot of the hand in the end result. And I didn't put anything on my cardstock. I didn't use any gesso for this page at all. So that's dry, and now I'm going to come in and jazz up a little bit more using some of my shimmers here. But yeah, I don't know if you know that about me. I post about this sometimes, but both of my daughters are autistic and nonverbal, and they've always been nonverbal. My oldest is 9.5 and my youngest is 7. And so that's all we've known since we've had them. It's definitely a challenge, but we it's our life. We make it work, and they both go to a special needs school where they get therapy every single day, and they love going, and they are progressing every day, and every year they're getting more and more accustomed to using photos to talk. I know that's a whole different lesson in autism that you probably don't want to hear, but yeah, they're doing well, and it has its moments. And this layout is, I do some journaling later, and I talk about the negative things of autism and the positive things of autism. So for every negative thing, there's a positive aspect of it. And I wanted to do a layout about that because it's a huge part of our lives, and part of, I think, why I love scrapbooking so much is that I can give my girls a voice through their pictures and through these layouts, and it helps me to reflect on the things that they love and their personalities and the things that they love to do, and it just makes me happy to see the little things that they do. And I think that's why I like scrapbooking everyday things, because for us, everyday little things are big things, and I want to remember those things. I don't want a day to go by where something big happens and I forget about it. So I try to capture all of those little stages that they go through, and all of the small victories, which are really big victories for us. And yeah. Anyway, you see what I'm doing here. I know I'm usually telling you every little step that I'm doing, but I think you can see that I was using the packaging technique. I'm using a couple of pieces of stickers here. That's from the Rise and Shine Amy Tan sticker sheet. Well, not a couple. I use that one piece. I'm going to play around with the Flair buttons, and now I'm going to speed this up a lot because this is going to involve a lot of thread. I think I go through all of my rainbow colors of the thread here, and I'm going to use a lot of it because autism is messy. At least for us it is. And I want this page to reflect the messy factor in that. And yeah, so it's chaotic, it's crazy, but it's also wonderful. It's definitely taught me a lot of things that I never would have thought or considered before I had kids. And at the same time, it makes me crazy. It makes me want to pull my hair out. It's very nerve-wracking at times, but yet in the same instance, it can be the greatest thing ever. So this is some washi tape from my stash, and I decided that I want to use it. I have not used this film strip washi tape in forever. I've got so much washi tape, and it's being ignored, and I don't know why. So I decided to add a little bit of a photo strip behind there, just for an added pop of black, since my pictures are black and white. And the background is going to be very, very colorful. It already is, but it's going to get even more colorful. Now, this is some tricky washi tape I've had in my stash for a long time. It's almost too sticky to pull up, and I just set it aside for now. I do wind up using it later. It's from Queen & Company, and I think it's just old, and I had to really peel at it because it was wanting to tear apart from the sticky side of it, and it was a mess. So I had to really work at it to get it to function right. So my title is going to be Different, Not Less, and I cut less on my Cameo in black, and I'm going to stamp the word different using some of these Ellie Studio stamps. And that title, I don't know if you're familiar with Temple Grandin, but she is probably the most famous person in the world with autism, and she's in her 60s. She's a professor of animal science in Colorado, and she travels around. She gives lectures on autism and animal science and different things, and she's written several books There's a movie about her. Claire Danes starred as Temple Grandin in a movie about her life, and she's truly amazing. I got to meet her last summer. She came to Orlando and spoke at a conference, and one of her books is entitled Different, Not Less. She's a huge advocate for autism, and her philosophy is people with autism are just different. They're not less of a person, and I just think that's the greatest concept. And so I wanted to make that my title because I think that describes my girls perfectly. They're definitely different. They're strange, they're weird, they do quirky, off-the-wall, oddball, strange things that the average person would be thinking, what is wrong with that kid? But, you know, we understand it because we are around it all the time. And just because they're different doesn't mean they're less of a person. You know, we just have to learn how to reach them differently and teach to the way that they need to learn and accept that, because that's just the way they are. They've been that way since they were born, and we just have to roll with it, and that's the way life is around here. I'm playing with the Flair now. I'm going to use the handprint over on the left and the one that says I love someone with autism down on the right. And as usual, I like to circle up some thread there and create a little nest, so they're going to rest there, and give it a little bit of a border of a color. Okay, this paper, check out this paper. Is this not the cutest, awesomest, that's not a word, greatest colorful paper you've ever seen? It's Recollections from Michaels. I've had it in my stash for forever, and I love the rainbow effect. So I'm going to use it as a border just to kind of echo the rainbow situation going on. And so I went through all my stash and found that and thought, okay, that's the paper. That's the winner. You're the one that's going to be on my page. But I didn't want to waste the part that you can't see, so I cut it off. I'm just going to use this border part here. Yeah, I took this picture, or these pictures, back at the beginning of April, and it's very challenging to get both of these girls around me to sit still long enough to take a picture. My oldest one is very calm and very passive, whereas my younger one is like a bull in a china shop. She's moving 24/7. And so to get her to sit still and to get my other one all together, it was quite a task. So I was very pleased that I was able to get them in a picture with me, with a selfie type picture. So I was tickling people and poking them to get them to laugh, and my little one was just not having it. She said, nope, I'll be in your picture, but I'm not going to smile. So these are just bits and bobs. Hey, Sue's Fish, I said it again. Some bits and bobs stickers from my stash. Some of these are simple stories. A lot of these are simple stories. The black ones are me and my big ideas from that sticker pack that I got at Hobby Lobby. These are, gosh, I can't even remember the collection. It was one of the planner collections from a year or two ago. I just keep it in this little bin on my desk because all the colors always seem to match something that I'm working on. So I just added some hearts and some little sayings. One says, "This is my life." One says, "This is what it's all about right here," or something like that. So I'm going to do a little bit of journaling here. I drew some lines, and I just talk about, like I said earlier, some of the negative things about autism, but I think some of the positive things outweigh it. And, you know, you have your good days where you love it and things are great, and you have days where you just want to strangle someone because it's driving you so crazy, and you just have to take a step back and breathe and realize that it's going to be okay and just roll with it. So this is some black shimmers, and that's my final page. I love, love, love how this turned out. I love loud colors. I love the rainbow. I love my handprint. I love this page. I love what it stands for. I love what it means. I love the Flair. It's just one of my favorites. It means a lot to me. It gets me very emotional to think about it. So you're lucky I did not cry when I talk about my kids, because I usually do. So the fact that there are no tears in this video is great. Anyway, let me know if you have any questions. Check out A Flair for Buttons. Check out these autism Flair, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.